Overthinking is not ruining your relationships. That is the story you have been told, that you are too much, too sensitive, too analytical, too intense. But what if that is wrong? What if overthinking in love is not a personality flaw, but a survival instinct that does not know the war is over? Here is what usually happens. He takes a little longer to reply, and you feel it. Not just in your thoughts, in your chest, a tightness. Your mind starts whispering, did I say something weird? Did his tone change? Is he pulling away? And suddenly you're replaying a conversation from 2 days ago, not because you enjoy drama, because your nervous system thinks something is wrong. Most people misunderstand overthinkers. You do not imagine problems for fun. Your brain is trying to predict pain before it happens. There's a small part of your brain called the amygdala. Its job is simple: scan for threat, respond fast, keep you alive. Thousands of years ago, that meant predators. Today, it reacts to emotional uncertainty. A 2011 neuroscience study found that social rejection activates the same brain regions as physical pain. Let that sink in. Your brain processes rejection like injury. So when someone you care about becomes unpredictable, your system does not say, he is probably busy. It says, alert, something feels unsafe. That is not weakness, that is wiring. When your brain senses threat, it prepares. Preparation looks like this: replaying texts, analyzing punctuation, noticing the shift from good morning with a heart to just morning. You tell yourself you're being crazy, but your nervous system believes it is being responsible. Because if you can predict the breakup, maybe it will not hurt as much, right? Except here's the twist. The more you rehearse abandonment, the more your brain believes it is coming. Overthinking does not calm fear. It feeds it. It creates a loop. Uncertainty, analysis, more uncertainty, more analysis. And slowly, relationships stop feeling like connection. They start feeling like surveillance. You are physically present, but mentally preparing for impact. Reassurance rarely fixes this. He says, I'm not going anywhere. For a moment, relief. Your body softens, but tomorrow he sounds distracted and the cycle restarts. Why? Because reassurance is external, but overthinking is driven by internal threat detection. If your nervous system does not feel safe, no amount of words will permanently convince it. It is like trying to calm a smoke alarm by talking to it. The alarm is reactive. Chronic overthinkers usually built the system for a reason. Maybe love was inconsistent growing up. Maybe affection had conditions. Maybe someone left without warning. So your brain learned, stay alert, stay prepared, never be surprised again. That is not insecurity, that is adaptation. Now here is something difficult. Overthinking can slowly erode attraction. Not because you're too emotional, but because hypervigilance changes how you show up. When you constantly scan for signs of withdrawal, you start seeking confirmation. Are we okay? You seem different. Is something wrong? One question is harmless. Daily repetition shifts the dynamic. Your partner can begin to feel monitored instead of trusted. And ironically, distance grows. Not because you imagined it, but because anxiety changes behavior, and behavior changes energy. You stop responding naturally. You start managing outcomes. There is a difference. Overthinking is not intuition. They feel similar, but intuition is calm. Overthinking is urgent. Intuition whispers once. Overthinking repeats. Intuition feels grounded. Overthinking spirals upward into your head. That distinction matters because many chronic overthinkers trust anxiety as instinct, even when it is fueled by fear. The goal is not to stop thinking. That never works. You cannot bully your brain into silence. The real shift happens when safety increases, not intellectual safety, felt safety. That means noticing when your body tenses over small uncertainty, asking yourself, is this happening now, or am I protecting myself from something old? That question alone can interrupt the loop, not eliminate it, interrupt it. And interruption is powerful, because overthinking thrives on momentum. Break the momentum and the nervous system recalibrates, slowly. This is not about becoming indifferent. It is about teaching your brain that love is not a battlefield, that a delayed text is not a threat, that someone having a bad day is not abandonment. And sometimes the bravest thing an overthinker can do is tolerate not knowing. Sit with uncertainty without trying to solve it. It feels terrifying at first, like standing without armor. But over time, your brain gathers new evidence. Nothing bad happened. You survived the pause. You survived the silence. You survived not preparing. And survival without hyperanalysis slowly rewires the system. So no, you're not broken. You're not too much. You adapted brilliantly to unpredictability. The problem is, your protection system never received the update that you are safer now. Protection that never turns off starts to look like sabotage. But it is not sabotage. It is outdated defense. The shift begins when you stop shaming yourself for overthinking and start understanding what it is trying to protect. Once you see it clearly, you can thank it and then gently teach it that love does not require constant guarding. Sometimes it only requires staying. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, please don't forget to subscribe for more relationship and psychology insights.